1 in 3 people have this condition and don't even know it. American Diabetes Association. Tom Hanks discovered it during a routine checkup at age 57. Halle Berry collapsed on a movie set before getting diagnosed. Your neighbor might be walking around right now with blood sugar levels that are slowly damaging their organs, and they have no idea. Medical research discovered the truth about these hidden warning signs over 20 years ago, but most people still miss them completely. Your body has been trying to warn you for months, maybe even years, but these signals are so subtle, so easy to dismiss as just getting older or being stressed, that millions of people ignore them until it's almost too late. The scary part? By the time you notice the classic symptoms everyone talks about, significant damage may have already occurred. Let me show you the 7 hidden signs your body sends before diabetes becomes obvious. These aren't the symptoms your doctor quickly mentions during a 10-minute appointment. These are the whispers your body makes before it starts screaming. The first sign happens in your bathroom, and it's not what you think. You might notice you're urinating more frequently, but here's what doctors don't tell you. It's not just about quantity, it's about timing. Pre-diabetics often wake up 2-3 times per night to urinate, but they blame it on drinking too much water before bed or having a weak bladder. Your kidneys are actually working overtime trying to flush out excess glucose, but this happens gradually, so you adapt to it without realizing it's abnormal. Medical research shows that increased nighttime urination, called nocturia, can begin 2 to 3 years before a formal diabetes diagnosis. Your body is literally trying to protect itself by eliminating sugar through your urine, but you're writing it off as a normal part of aging. Think about it. Have you been getting up more often at night lately? Have you blamed it on stress, coffee, or just getting older? The second warning sign shows up in your vision, but not the way you expect. You probably think diabetic vision problems mean going blind, but the early signs are much more subtle. You might notice that your vision seems slightly blurry when you wake up, but it clears up after a few minutes. Or maybe you've been squinting more when reading, but you assume you just need glasses. Here's what's really happening. When your blood sugar levels fluctuate, the lens in your eye actually swells and contracts. This changes your eye's ability to focus clearly. But since these fluctuations happen gradually throughout the day, your brain compensates, and you don't realize your vision is changing. You might find yourself holding your phone farther away to read texts, or you might notice that street signs look fuzzy until you blink a few times. The third sign affects your energy levels, but it's not the dramatic fatigue everyone expects. Instead, you might notice what feels like a mid-afternoon crash that's becoming more regular. You used to power through busy days, but now you find yourself needing a nap around 2 or 3 p.m. You might blame it on poor sleep, work stress, or just being busy, but your body is actually struggling to properly use glucose for energy. When your cells become resistant to insulin, they can't efficiently convert sugar into energy. So even though you might be eating normally, your cells are essentially starving for fuel. This creates a specific type of tiredness, not the exhaustion you feel after a hard workout, but a deep, heavy fatigue that makes you want to lie down. You might find yourself drinking more coffee or reaching for sugary snacks to get through the day, which actually makes the problem worse. The fourth warning sign happens in your mouth, and it's not just about being thirsty. You might notice your mouth feels dry more often, especially when you wake up. But here's the key detail most people miss. It's not just dryness, it's a specific type of stickiness, like your saliva has become thicker. You might find yourself drinking more water throughout the day, but it never seems to fully satisfy your thirst. This happens because high blood sugar levels actually change the composition of your saliva. Your mouth produces less saliva, and what it does produce becomes more concentrated. You might also notice that your breath has a slightly sweet or fruity smell, especially in the morning. Some people describe it as smelling like acetone or nail polish remover. Your spouse or close friends might notice this before you do. The fifth sign shows up in your skin, but it's not the dramatic changes you might expect. You might notice small, dark patches of skin that look like dirt or stains that won't wash off. These usually appear in areas where your skin folds, around your neck, under your arms, or in your groin area. You might try scrubbing them off in the shower, thinking it's just poor hygiene, but they keep coming back. This condition, called acanthosis nigricans, is actually your skin's response to insulin resistance. When your body produces more insulin to try to control your blood sugar, it can cause certain skin cells to reproduce rapidly, creating these dark, velvety patches. The appearance of these patches can actually predict diabetes development 5 to 10 years before blood sugar levels become obviously abnormal. The sixth warning sign affects your healing ability in ways you might not connect to blood sugar. You might notice that small cuts or scrapes take longer to heal than they used to. A paper cut that used to heal in a few days now takes a week or more. You might get small infections that seem to linger longer than normal. Your gums might bleed more easily when you brush your teeth, or you might get frequent mouth sores. High blood sugar actually impairs your immune system's ability to fight off bacteria and heal tissue. It also damages small blood vessels, reducing blood flow to areas that need healing. This creates a cycle where minor injuries become bigger problems, but the progression is so gradual that you might not notice the pattern until someone points it out. The seventh and most overlooked sign involves your emotions and mental clarity. You might notice that you're more irritable than usual, especially when you're hungry. You might find it harder to concentrate during certain parts of the day, or you might experience mood swings that seem to come out of nowhere. Family members might comment that you seem different or more difficult to deal with, but you can't quite put your finger on why. Your brain depends on stable blood sugar levels to function properly. When those levels fluctuate, it directly affects your mood, concentration, and decision-making ability. You might find yourself getting frustrated over small things that never bothered you before, or you might feel anxious without any obvious reason. These emotional changes often happen months or years before other symptoms become obvious. Now, here's what medical research tells us about taking action when you notice these signs. The most important thing to understand is that prediabetes is not a life sentence. It's a warning that gives you time to make changes. Studies show that people who catch these early warning signs and make lifestyle modifications can actually reverse insulin resistance and prevent type 2 diabetes from developing. The first step is to get proper testing, but not just the basic blood sugar test your doctor might do during a routine physical. You need a comprehensive metabolic panel that includes fasting glucose, hemoglobin A1C, and insulin levels. Many people have normal fasting glucose but abnormal insulin levels, which means their body is working overtime to keep blood sugar normal. This is like having a fire alarm that's been going off for months, but the smoke hasn't reached the smoke detector yet. The second step is to start monitoring your blood sugar patterns at home, even if you haven't been diagnosed with diabetes. You can buy a simple glucose meter at any pharmacy for less than $20. Test your blood sugar first thing in the morning, before meals, and 2 hours after eating. This will help you understand how different foods and activities affect your blood sugar levels. Keep a log for 2 to 3 weeks and look for patterns. The third step is to implement what researchers call metabolic rescue, specific dietary and lifestyle changes that can reverse insulin resistance. This isn't about following a generic diet plan, but about understanding how your individual body responds to different foods and activities. Some people see dramatic improvements just by eliminating processed foods and walking for 30 minutes after meals. Others need more structured approaches. The transformation that's possible when you catch these early warning signs is remarkable. Take Sarah, a 45-year-old teacher from Arizona who started noticing several of these signs, but dismissed them as stress from work. When she finally got comprehensive testing, her A1C was 6.3, officially pre-diabetic. Instead of waiting for it to get worse, she started monitoring her blood sugar and making targeted changes to her diet and exercise routine. Within 6 months, her A1C dropped to 5.4, her energy levels returned to normal, and the dark patches on her neck completely disappeared. She lost 25 pounds without following any specific diet plan, just by understanding how different foods affected her blood sugar. Most importantly, she avoided what could have been a lifelong struggle with diabetes and its complications. If you recognized yourself in any of these 7 signs, don't wait for your next routine doctor's appointment. Take control of your health today by getting comprehensive testing and starting to monitor your blood sugar patterns. Your future self will thank you for paying attention to these early warnings instead of ignoring them until it's too late.